So, hello everyone, and welcome to my third video in the series of making a platformer in monogame. And in this video, we will be covering the tile map collisions. And today's video will be a really short one, like a half hour or so, because I have not finished my assignments, so I need to do that. So anyways, uh, first we will need to open our tile map and add a collision layer. Yeah, let's add a few props as well for now. Props. And these. Mines need lights, else we cannot see. Yeah, so that should be all for now. Now let's create a collision layer, object layer that is, and name it collisions. Place it at the top. Yeah, yeah, and place some of the squares here and there. We will be fixing these sizes very soon. Or let's also make a entry and a exit point for the level. So this will be the level start and this will be the level end. Yeah. Now let's add positions to these two, and then time to resize these. I should also tell that the way I am doing is just checking the rectangles for now. Like if the player rectangle is intersecting with the level rectangle, but this is temporary. I should mention that, and in the probably in the next or in one of the upcoming videos, I will be using I will be converting this into the ABAB AABB collisions, not ABAB, but that's for the future. I have also thought of some levels this game. Maybe I will make this into a full-size game instead of just a tutorial series. Um, for these two platforms, we forgot it. Yeah, let's save our map, and now in the game 1 class, we will make a list of rectangles, private list, not TMX list. We need rectangle and namely that rects, and private, and two more rectangles for the start and the end of the levels. So that will be a private rectangle end rect and start rect. Oh, we will also need to add names. So this will be start, and this will be end. Yeah. Now in the load content, let me just refer to this. What did I do here? I see. So we will need a for each loop. And the object group is called collisions. Dot objects, I think. Yeah, dot objects. And in here we will need to check like if it has a name, because we need to ignore the start and the end. So if it does not have a name, should be double quotes. So if it does not have a name, then we'll first need to initialize it actually. Collision regs, let's say new list rectangle, and now we will need to add them to this. Start add new rectangle dot x dot y. Now, and we will need to convert them into ints. Let's just typecast them. Yeah, so that should be our rectangles for now. And then in the update method, we'll just check, like, let's first add gravity to the player, gravity and the player rectangle. Player rectangle, and fall speed is like a 2 or something. And by default, like, the player will just fall from the sky. That should work. Yeah, and it just falls through because we are not checking any collisions. So we will actually need to set the rectangle positions, and that will just initialize it here. It will be a player rect is a new rectangle, and we'll just set this to 32 by 32 since we already know them, and it will be a int. It will also be a int. For now, we are just setting this to a empty vector 2, like, so the player will just spawn at 0, 0, but later we'll just add another we'll just add another parameter which will be the start position so that the player spawns at that position. Now in the update we will actually need to set the x and y of the player rectangle every frame. I have also written the spelling wrong. Position. How did I write all the spellings wrong? Position. Yeah. Actually, let's just make this a part of the entity class, and so this will be a public rectangle hitbox. So that's better, and we'll just remove this and make this the hitbox, and this will be hitbox.x, and we'll also need to typecast it to an integer. What's the problem? Oh, y dot x, and box dot y is an integer position dot y. And now in the update we'll need to check every frame through all the rectangles. Like, this is the main problem with my method currently, that I have to check all the rectangles, even those with which the player is like not intersecting. So it's very performance intensive. So that we will be fixing in a future video with AABB collisions. For now, let's just do that. For varef in collision rects, actually we'll also need to make a new temporary, actually we'll need a temporary variable which will store the initial position. Initial position will be the player dot position, and like if it's intersecting we will just set the player dot position to the initial position. So this should work, I think. Yeah, and the player, what just happened? Uh, looks like we have a bug in our program. The player is on run. Yeah. What if we just set the player velocity as well to the initial position? Huh. Well, that's new. Hello, Pixel Cat. Well, this is something new. I didn't know that we will need to set, like, both of these needs to be set to the initial position. Ah, and so what if I set this? What if I just set the velocity to the initial velocity, initial position? Yeah, that doesn't work. So I need to set both the velocity and the player position to the initial position. This is really strange. Yeah. Or I guess that now I will need to change the way I am calculating the velocity. I am saying the position and the velocity of the player. My mic is low. Wait. Uh, this is the farthest I am. If I go any higher than this, then it will be like too high. Actually, I am using a very cheap mic, and like there is a lot of background noise, so it will disturb the recording, you know. So, anyways, mm, uh, let's just add a variable called is falling. Yeah, we'll we'll try to add a variable. Okay, so that's good. Is falling, and by default it will be true. And if the player is falling, and in that case we will just increase the velocity by the fall speed, and in here we will just set is falling to false. mm, but that won't work, I think. Yeah, our player also can walk. Yeah, as I said, that won't work because we will again need to As soon as it stops intersecting, we'll need to set it back to like true. So mm, I need to break. Yeah, so that should be a little bit faster, but still we have that problem. Mm, what if we do it? What if we just do this and remove this one? Let's set the player dot is falling to true, and then if it intersects, we'll just set it back to false. That doesn't work. This player gravity is like one of the things that I hate for about platformers. Mm, these don't have a else statement, do they? No, that's a Python thing then. Mm, well, we can still use the older method, like the one I just previously used, but this would have been like very easy. Rex, collision reg, and yeah. If we add another variable called is intersecting, and that will be true, and when it is not true, then I actually don't remember what I used for like my very first video, which was also making a platformer. This shouldn't affect it anyway. The problem will still remain. Mm, Set to false. I don't think that this will work. Will this work? Nah, that doesn't work. Just remove this to here, and that doesn't work. So like if it is, uh, yeah, you know what? I'll just think of this later. I have to do my assignments. Let's just do it the normal way for now, like the old way that I was just using. Uh, this method can probably be used, but I will think of this later. And that doesn't. Oh, we need to set the velocity as well. Yeah, that works perfectly. Yeah, I think that's because the variable is never resetting. I will need to look into that. I will just look into that of video. I just need to get this done like real quick. I have assignments to give like on Monday. So that is the like the y-axis, and what? It's already been like 35 minutes. So like, sorry guys, I will need to end the stream today like real fast. Yeah, I am going to. Goodbye. I will do a new extra stream on Wednesday, where I will be just fixing this problem. So goodbye until